What's going on, guys? Welcome back for another episode. Thank you for joining me again. First off, I want to say thank you to everybody. As the new year, or as the year comes to an end, you know, my goal was to hit 2,000 subscribers, and we may just hit 2,500 by the end of the year. And it's all thanks to you guys for liking, commenting, sharing, stuff like that. So big thanks to you guys. We got some really awesome stuff coming on this episode, and I am completely humbled by the amount of people that are pitching in on this build and offering parts and sending me things, and you know, the companies that are jumping on board. It is absolutely amazing and completely humbling to me, you know, as a YouTuber slash like influencer for the Mazdaspeed platform. It is insane. You know, I only have 2,000 something subscribers, which is it's a lot. You know, I never thought I'd be even here, but for where I'm at and the amount of support that I'm getting is absolutely crazy. I have someone sending me an entire head for the motor with the cams, everything. It's all good to go. I'll just have to get it, you know, ported, polished, stuff like that, upgrade the valve springs. I also have somebody that's sending me a bunch of parts for the engine that I'm going to need when I assemble it, you know, such as things like timing components, timing cover, high pressure fuel pump, the water neck, you know, miscellaneous parts and pieces that bolt onto the head. You know, it's amazing. These people are just sending this stuff to me because they just want to see the build come to life. And I can't thank you guys enough. You know, when those things get here, which should be shortly, probably after the holidays, because it is a busy time of year for everybody, I will go through those and, you know, give the respective shout outs to the people that, you know, are sending these things. I just can't thank you guys enough for all the support. Speaking of support, if you guys know, building a car like this is super expensive. It's an expensive hobby, as you all know. You know, I have a budget just like everybody else. YouTube doesn't pay me anything, really. So, you know, stuff like this does cost a lot of money. I did actually set up a Patreon account for those that want to, you know, contribute anything, or just to, you know, throw something in it to say, hey, you know, here's $5 or whatever. You know, I'm not expecting anything, but I put it up for people that, you know, have been messaging me, like saying if they can help out in any way. You know, there's that outlet, and I would greatly appreciate anything. But like I said, not expecting anything. You guys are awesome as it is. But I'll link that down below. You guys will be, you know, premier sponsors of the channel, and I'll shout your names out, and, you know, whatever Instagram, whatever you want, you know, put out there to, you know, kind of hook you guys up and say thank you. I want to be the first to tell you that we have Speed Performance up in New Jersey. They are a premier Mazdaspeed, Focus, ST, and RS, you know, builder that makes some sweet engines and tune all these cars. They're great dudes. I called them to just see if they had any spare engines laying around that could be rebuilt, that they'd be willing to part ways with. And a 30-minute phone call, BSing with them, talking to them about the build. They actually knew about the build from YouTube, which is pretty awesome. They are sponsoring the build with a fully built short block. And to me, that is like, man, like someone's doing that for me is absolutely crazy. So yes, I have an entire built short block being built for the RX8 that's going to be shipped right here to the house. And I am baffled by the offer that they gave me, and just wanting to be a part of the build. You know, they build some badass engines for these cars, whether you want your daily driver, you know, mild build, to full on, I'm going to send it build that, you know, they can do whatever you want, whatever combos you want. They build great stuff. I'm going to link all their stuff below. So if you're looking for an engine build, you know, definitely go hit them up. I'll link their stuff below. Speed Performance up in New Jersey, otherwise known as SP63. I can't thank those guys enough for them to just jump on board with this and just feel that confident in the build, and you know how crazy this thing's going to be and the exposure it's going to get is absolutely wild. So huge thanks to them. I can't thank them enough. So another thing too, you guys heard me talking about the tubular subframe. I actually did order it, but here's the thing. They're closed for the holidays until about the 7th of January, and they are going to start building the subframe and welding everything right when they get back. And I should have the subframe mid-January. They are going to leave it bare metal, and I'm going to have it powder coated myself because I may have to add some new brackets. You know, this steering rack from the RX8 is going to go bye-bye because it is big, bulky, and just too much. And so I'm not using the power steering. There's no need for it. I'm actually going to get a Miata steering rack, a manual rack, so it'll be very minimalistic, and I can mount that to the subframe. But what's awesome is once that subframe is in there and bolted up, good to go. Once I get that engine here, I'll be able to drop it in here. I'm basically going to try to build like some motor plates on the sides with mounts going down to the subframe to mount everything up. So with Speed Performance building the engine and someone sending me a good cylinder head with cams, all that stuff. Oh, I also have another person sending me another set of cams just in case. I may actually send those out to get a custom grind done. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do that or who I'm going to go with. But basically once the block gets here, I'll just have to put the timing stuff on and put the head on, stuff like that, and I'll be able to actually drop the engine down into the engine bay. What's cool is that I also have them sending me, they happen to have a complete Gen 2 wiring harness with the ECU, the fuse boxes, the BCM, the ignition harness, as well as the instrument cluster for a Gen 2 Speed 3. So we are gonna literally drop this engine in and then start immediately wiring everything so we can get everything hooked up. And then all the little stuff will come in, like, you know, intake manifold, turbo, stuff like that, fueling. Basically what I'm thinking is when we have the engine mounted, this hole right here is going to be a good access point for us to feed the engine harness through to come hook up to the engine. And what I plan on doing is basically putting the ECU, the fuse box, and stuff like that on the inside of the firewall mounted to like a plate so that they can sit in there to minimize anything that's out here. If you know the Speed 3 with the engine mounted this way, the battery and the fuse box and the ECU sit over on this side. So with turning the engine, this right here will turn to be right here. So I think it'll work out perfect having that stuff back there and having enough wiring on that harness to reach where I gotta go. A lot of things are gonna be coming very soon, a lot sooner than expected. With Speed Performance jumping on this build with an engine, it's gonna save me a bunch of money and be able to redirect it in other places that were gonna take a little bit longer to do. So now we gotta get stuff ready for when this stuff comes. I'm thinking about jumping in the interior of this car here with you guys today and kind of going through and getting the miscellaneous brackets and little BS that was in the interior when I ripped it out. Just stuff that I won't need to kind of clean it up a little bit. I also want to do the sound deadening right here. I'll probably do another episode on that to show you guys how to do that if you guys are wanting to do that as well. Basically taking like dry ice and isopropyl alcohol and mixing it up in a bucket and then laying it down on the sections that you need for a little bit and then breaking it up with like a mallet or something like that to break up the pieces and take that out. Just a little bit more weight reduction we can do to save some weight. I am looking to make this car super light. Hopefully about 2,700 pounds or less with me in the car would be amazing. So with that being said, we should really only need about 700 horsepower to make this thing absolutely crazy. just because of the power to weight ratio. So yes, we're gonna try to make more, but that 700 horsepower range to the rear tires is gonna be substantial, especially through an automatic transmission with a trans brake and a good stall converter. Is really gonna help us preload the rear end and have a really good launch. So I'm just completely excited. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm just always thinking ahead and figuring out what we got to do. Definitely make sure you guys are subscribed. You're not going to want to miss a lot of the things coming here after the holidays, because it's going to be pretty hard-hitting and fast. There's going to be a lot of things happening, a lot of stuff going in, coming out, trying to get this thing ready to go. I am fully confident that we can have this car up and running for next season to make it to the track and start making some hits. So definitely subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button to get notifications when we post new videos. Also, liking the videos is a huge help to the channel. For some reason, just the way YouTube works with the algorithm, the more likes and comments and stuff like that, the better it helps the channel generate some, you know, pocket change that we can use to put right back into this build. So yeah, definitely hit the like button and definitely subscribe. Also, we had a fan send in a wastegate that he wants to see go on the build. So shout out to Ray Page. He owns a Instagram page called DMV Speeds, and I'll link that stuff below. You can check them out. Pretty sweet Mazdaspeed page on Instagram. But he sent me a tile wastegate. I think it's a 38 or something like that. We're definitely going to put it on the build and run it until we, you know, need more, just to say thank you. So he sent this, already has the springs and a dump tube. I don't know if I'll be able to use this, but maybe I'll be able to extend off of it or something. But huge shout out to him. Pretty awesome that, you know, he would send this to us. You know, authentic tile. So pretty sweet. So for the interior, I'm talking about like little stuff like this. I want to start getting in here and ripping out. I still have like these seatbelt things back here. I want to take those out because obviously I won't need those. Back in the trunk there, you can see brackets and little bits back there. And I kind of just want to clean everything up so that, you know, tomorrow or after Christmas, I can start breaking up this sound deadening and getting it all out of here and clean this thing up pretty well so that it is good to go. Because I basically want to put, this is the passenger side, thinking about mounting all the harness and ECU and stuff back here because there's nothing behind the dash. There's the hole for the engine bay, and literally this is where the radio would go. There's nothing back here, so I have a ton of room back there to work with, and I think it would work pretty well. I think I'm gonna use the Speed 3 instrument cluster and kind of try to mount it here. I know it probably won't be a direct fit, so maybe I'll, you know, take it apart and make some kind of plastic trim around it to mount it in there. So got my boy out here, and we're gonna start ripping into the interior here. So we're gonna jump to the time lapse. As you can see on the floor, we got a lot of crap out, a lot of like clips, stuff like that. So we took the vacuum in here and kind of got it cleaned up. You can see in the car, it's a little cleaner than it was. I gotta wait for my impact to charge up to get these bolts off because they are on there super, super tight. So, got everything else cleaned up in here. What's up?
Are you filming?
Yeah. Okay. All right, so now I'm working on the sunroof, and I got a lot of bolts out, but I can't. I'm trying to figure out what it's hung up on. I mean, the assembly is fairly loose. I think it's just hung up on some like rivets or something. So I'm trying to figure that out right now. I got like this right here. It's like one of those toothed like metal things that hold onto the bolt, and it's pretty stuck on there, whereas everything else is pretty loose. So I'm just trying to figure those last things out and get the whole sunroof out. So that'll be a lot of weight. Okay, so I have to figure out the sunroof. I want to take it out and try not to break it, so that hopefully I can try to sell that piece if anybody's looking for it. Just don't want to break it and have it drop and have glass everywhere. That's not what I'm trying to do. So I'm gonna do a little bit of research and kind of tinker around and see what we got. We'll have us pulling it out in the next episode, along with the sound deadening in the car that we're going to be pulling out. A lot of stuff is going to be happening with this build very soon. I hope you guys are super excited. Please make sure you like this video. Comment below, you know, what you think about the big news that we got. I think it's absolutely amazing. The amount of support on this build that we're doing is awesome. The MS8 is going to live, and it is going to be one badass car, and I can't do it without the help of you guys. So definitely drop a comment below. Tell me what you think. I think it's going to be pretty sweet to actually have an engine mounted up in the engine bay and start seeing some kind of progress, which is awesome. So that's going to do it, guys. Next episode should be coming probably next week after the holidays. I wish you guys a very happy holidays. Enjoy it. Spend some time with your family. We will see you on the next episode, guys. Peace.